Hey YouTube, it's Penny. So in the last video I mentioned that I wanted to bring you some scriptures from 2nd Baruch, which is quickly becoming one of my favorite books in this affair. So starting with chapter 6, verse 2, and I was grieving over Zion and lamenting over the captivity which had come upon the people. And lo, suddenly a strong ruach raised me and bore me aloft over the wall of Yerushalayim. And I beheld, and lo, 4 angels standing at the 4 corners of the city, each of them holding a torch of fire in his hands. And another angel began to descend from heaven and said unto them, Hold your lamps, and do not light them till I tell you. For I am first sent to speak a word to the earth, and to place in it what Yahuah Sabaoth has commanded me. And I saw him descend into the Holy of Holies, and take from thence the veil, and the holy ark, and the mercy seat, and the 2 tables, and the holy raiment of the priest, and the altar of incense, and the 48 precious stones wherewith the priest was adorned, and all the holy vessels of the tabernacle. And he spoke to the earth with a loud voice, Earth, 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 hear the word of Elohiym, and receive what I commit to you, and guard them until the last times, so that when you are ordered you may restore them, so that strangers may not get possession of them. For the time comes when Yerushalayim also will be delivered for a time, until it is said that it is again restored forever, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up. I was amazed by that. Okay, chapter 20. Therefore, behold, the days come, and the time shall hasten more than the former, and the season shall speed on more than those that are past, and the years shall pass more quickly than the present years. Therefore, now I have taken away Zion, that I may more speedily visit the world in its season. Have you ever felt like time is speeding up? Well, there you go. Chapter 23. Starting in verse 2, And he answered and said unto me, Why therefore are you troubled about that which you know not? And why are you ill at ease about things in which you are ignorant? For as you have not forgotten the people who now are, and those who have passed away, so I remember those who are appointed to come. Because when Adam sinned and death was decreed against those who should be born, then the multitude of those who should be born was numbered. And for that number a place was prepared where the living might dwell and the dead might be guarded. So he's known from the very beginning, all of us who were going to be born, and he numbered us. Chapter 27. And he answered and said unto me, You too shall be preserved till that time, till that sign which El Elyon will work for the inhabitants of the earth in the end of days. This therefore shall be the sign, when a stupor shall seize the inhabitants of the earth, and they shall fall into many tribulations, and again when they shall fall into great torments. And it will come to pass when they say in their thoughts by reason of their much tribulation, Elohiym no longer remembers the earth. Yea, it will come to pass when they abandon hope, that the time will then awake. And I answered and said, Will that tribulation which is to be continue a long time, and will that necessity embrace many years? He wants to know, how long is this going to last? And he answered and said unto me, Into 12 parts is that time divided, and each one of them is reserved for that which is appointed for it. In the first part there shall be the beginning of commotions, and in the second part there shall be slayings of the great ones, and in the third part the fall of many by death, and in the fourth part the sending of the sword, and in the fifth part famine and the withholding of rain, and in the sixth part earthquakes and terrors wanting, and in the eighth part, that's right, it skips the 7th part, it's like a mystery, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of the 7 thunders, seal them up, don't talk about them. Okay, so, and in the 8th part, a multitude of specters and attacks of the Shedayim, Shediyim. And in the 9th part, the fall of fire. And in the 10th part, rapine and much oppression. And in the 11th part, wickedness and unchastity. And in the 12th part, confusion from the mingling together of all those things aforesaid. For these parts of that time are reserved, and shall be mingled one with another, and minister one to another. For some shall leave out some of their own, and receive it in its stead from others, and some complete their own and that of others, so that those may not understand who are upon the earth in those days that this is the consummation of the times. So it sounds to me like all this stuff's going to get like jumbled together, and people who don't have eyes to see and ears to hear and understand what days we're living in aren't going to get it. Chapter 29, and he answered and said unto me, whatsoever will then befall will befall the whole earth. Therefore all who live will experience them. For at that time I will protect only those who are found in those selfsame days in this land. And it shall come to pass when all is accomplished, that was to come to pass in those parts, that Hamashiach shall then begin to be revealed. 29, verse 8, and it shall come to pass at that selfsame time that the treasury of manna shall again descend from on high, and they will eat of it in those years, because these are they who have come to the consummation of time. Chapter 30. And it shall come to pass after these things, when the time of the advent of Hamashiach is fulfilled, that he shall return in glory. Then all who have fallen asleep in hope of him shall rise again. And it shall come to pass at that time that the treasuries will be opened, in which is preserved the number of the souls of the righteous. And they shall come forth, and a multitude of souls shall be seen together in one assemblage of one thought. And the first shall rejoice, and the last shall not be grieved. For they know that the time has come of which it is said, it is the consummation of the times. But the souls of the wicked, when they behold all these things, shall then waste away the more, for they shall know that their torment has come and their perdition has arrived. Chapter 40. The last leader of that time will be left alive, when the multitude of his host will be put to the sword, and he will be bound, and they will take him up to Mount Zion, and my Mashiach will convict him of all his impieties, and will gather and set before him all the works of his hosts. And afterward he will put him to death, and will protect the rest of my people, which shall be found in the place which I have chosen. And his principate will stand forever, until the world of corruption is at an end, and until the times aforesaid are fulfilled. Chapter 50. And he answered and said unto me, hear, Baruch, this word, and write in the remembrance of your heart all that you shall learn. For the earth shall then assuredly restore the dead, which it now receives, in order to preserve them. It shall make no change in their form, but as it has received, so it shall restore them. And as I delivered them unto it, so it shall raise them. For then it will be necessary to show to the living that the dead have come to life again, and that those who had departed have returned again. And it shall come to pass, when they have severely recognized those whom they now know, then judgment shall grow strong, and those things which before were spoken of shall come. So maybe this is where they get the idea of the zombie apocalypse. Yeah, when these things come to pass, man, it's going to be wild. Okay, chapter 51. And it shall come to pass, when that appointed day has gone by, that then shall the aspect of those who are condemned be afterwards changed, and the glory of those who are justified. For the aspect of those who now act wickedly shall become worse than it is, and they shall suffer torment. Also, as for the glory of those who have now been justified in my Torah, who have had understanding in their life, and who have planted in their heart the root of wisdom, then their splendor shall be glorified in changes, and the form of their face shall be turned into the light of their beauty, that they may be able to acquire and receive the world which does not die, which is then promised to them. For over this above all shall those who come then lament that they rejected my Torah, and stopped their ears, that they might not hear wisdom or receive understanding. When therefore they see those over whom they are now exalted, but who shall then be exalted and glorified more than they. They shall respectively be transformed, the latter into the splendor of angels, and the former shall yet more waste away in wonder at the visions and in the beholding of the forms. For they shall first behold and afterwards depart to be tormented. So they're going to see the righteous transformed into the splendor of angels. But those who have been saved by their works, and whom the Torah has been now a hope and understanding, and expectation and wisdom, a confidence, shall wonders appear in their time. For they shall behold the world which is now invisible to them, and they shall behold the time which is now hidden from them, and time shall no longer age them. For in the heights of that world shall they dwell, and they shall be made like unto the angels, and be made equal to the stars, and they shall be changed into every form they desire, from beauty into loveliness, and from light into the splendor of glory. For there shall be spread before them the extents of paradise, and there shall be shown to them the beauty of the majesty of the living creatures which are beneath the throne, and all the armies of the angels who are now held fast by my word, lest they should appear, and are held fast by a command, that they may stand in their places till their advent comes. Moreover, there shall then be excellency in the righteous, surpassing that in the angels. For the first shall receive the last, those whom they were expecting, and the last those of whom they used to hear that they had passed away. For they have been delivered from this world of tribulation and laid down the burden of anguish. For what then have men lost their life? And for what have those who were on the earth exchanged their soul? For then they chose not for themselves this time, which beyond the reach of anguish could not pass away, but they chose for themselves that time, whose issues are full of lamentations and evils. And they denied the world which ages not, those who come to it. And they rejected the time of glory, so that they shall not come to the honor of which I told you before. And then lastly, from chapter 71, and the Holy Land shall have mercy on its own, and it shall protect its inhabitants at that time. This is the vision which you have seen, and this is the interpretation. For I have come to tell you these things because your prayer has been heard with Elohiym. So I hope that whets your appetite to want to read the whole book. Absolutely amazing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Blessed are you, our Lord God, King of the universe. Amen.